I think we're almost, all the five presenters are through. We are almost at the end of this session. I would request Beirut to have a couple of perspectives as the juror, and then I would request the chairman to close the session, please. Sure. I think, I'd just like to end on the note that education, I think it will clearly be very transformational, and frankly, we are at the beginning of this iterative innovation about what works, what doesn't, what works on the small screen factor, what is easy to deliver, what is good to consume, is it really impactful? For example, teaching English in sound bites, how much does that translate into, say, outcomes outside the office, things like that. So I think, at this stage, like even in the early days of the internet, right? Nobody knew, okay, why do you create a website? What is it useful for? What are the many potential and so on? I think same thing here. We're sort of at that equivalent phase in the mobile phenomena in India. And, like Tommy was saying, I think India is sort of on the leading front, but that requires, let there be 1,000 flowers, and a lot may not work, but a few will. And frankly, and the only thing I'll say, the difference, sustainability is an important thing, but I just do feel like, unlike charging 200 rupees for a school where there is physical infrastructure, there is some physical cost, setting up a website, the marginal cost is really zero. You can serve 1,000 people or 1 million people, it doesn't cost as much. So I think it'll be a much lower determinant of success for education, but we may discover our own version of Khan Academy. We may discover our own sort of form factors or relevant content, things like that. So I think I'd love more and more entrepreneurs to just create, experiment, try. The cost barrier, the sustainability barrier is really low. The threshold of keeping it going for a very long time is not much. And who knows? It could be like Wikipedia. It's sort of self-sustaining by itself. It's just lots of little people contributing a little bit, where each individual doesn't have a sustainability problem. They're just doing it out of passion. But 1 million people passionately create enough content that can serve 1 billion people. Who knows? It could be many of these different ideas. So I think it just, let 1,000 flowers bloom.
Some great presentations today, and I'm sure there was a lot more behind this pipeline that we got to see. I think we've discussed a fair bit on the issue of sustainability. I personally don't claim expertise on it, and I was just trying to draw some parallels with what we see in the for-profit world. Might or might not be relevant here. Just a couple of other observations. I think to different degrees, different presenters emphasize on two different approaches to this whole problem. Right? One being what is it that I can do on the mobile as a device in education. The second being, I'm not trying to solve the problem of I've got a hammer and where's the nail, but if I look at the education process, where can I best leverage the mobile? And I think those two approaches tend to be very different. Sometimes you can get logged into the tool that we have rather than the problem at hand. And to me, that's just one caution of saying, if you look at any given space, right? We spoke today from training to get a job to golf swings to pre-primary schools, and in those contexts, mobile is going to perhaps go and fit in differently. In many of those contexts, books are going to continue to have relevance, blackboards are going to continue to have relevance, and it's important to kind of approach it from the problem rather than the tool that I have. Learning outcomes, I think, again, a great point was made there. To me, if someone's willing to write a check, they've got passion to write the check, that's great. The onus of letting 1,000 flowers bloom, but letting 500 of them wither off, increases when there is a pocket paying for it, which doesn't own the spend, right? In the for-profit world, that is typically done through competition and survival of the fittest. In the grant world or in pay for passion world, I think being true to outcomes is one way of determining, what rises to the top and what doesn't.